the character would be so self-assured, mature, and present that he wouldn't need validation or attention from any aspect of his life.
Correct. Oh,
OODA.
okay.
Observe, orient, decide, then act. Act is the last part.
In real life हम ज्यादा ऐसे सोचते नहीं. In
Hmm.
real life हमें सोचने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती. But when you play a certain character ना, मुझे सब पर शक होने लगा. कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं है, ऐसा तो नहीं.
I- As human beings, from the day we are born, we are taught certain things, right? That this is a certain way, that is a certain way. Um, but we are never taught to question anything.
Welcome to News 18. How are you? How are you feeling?
Very good.
Wonderful.
As obviously we're feeling excited. Can't wait for tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. Excited
Yeah,
about the release tomorrow.
yeah. So I watched the trailer of your upcoming project, and it looks so exciting.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of significant buzz around the project, and people are really was just checking the comment section, and people are really, really looking forward to it. So the excitement is like palpable.
We're very happy to hear that
It is.
because it is going to be a good one, a good 6 episodes, a good binge watch. And I hope people do that immediately tomorrow when the release happens.
Absolutely. So, Pooja, the show Adrishyam 2, it is basically, it deals with a very, very touchy, very sensitive, a very heavy topic, which is India's fight against terrorism. So
Right.
how did you lay the groundwork? What was the prep like?
So the prep for the character was in two parts. One was, of course, understanding the physical aspect of it. Um, which is A, obviously learning and training in the action, the combat that is required. Uh, B, in my body language to understand that I also need to, or rather, my character also needs to be someone who's not looking to be visible. Like the name suggests, Adrishyam, the invisible heroes, this is a story about heroes that work in the shadows to make sure that the country is safe, that the citizens of the country can sleep without, you know, a single thought of worry in their mind. Um, so, see, as actors, we are trained to project ourselves with our bodies, and that's a body language that we kind of imbibe through our characters. And this was one character that actually required me to be less visible, to not be detected, because that is the part in reality as well. So those were the two kind of preps that I had to keep in mind. In the physical aspect of it, I have learned combat and kickboxing in a few years back, just for the sake of it, not for a part or anything. I love kickboxing, so I'd learned some combat. So that base kind of also helped, that I didn't find it fearful to do action, and it helped me actually enhance or kind of grasp whatever choreography was given to me. The second, rather more important aspect of the character and preparing was the mental aspect of it, the challenges
Correct.
that they face mentally, the emotional toll that it takes on officers who um, are leading a double life, or rather more than double. They are playing parts that is one aspect of their personality is known just for the family, one is known to their colleagues, one is known to their enemies, one is known to general people out there, and the one personality that only they know,
Correct.
which comes out within when they are alone, with their thoughts. So, how to navigate that, why it is important to understand what their job is, how important it is, what state of mind they need to be when making a split-second decision, which is going to result into life or death, not just of themselves, but of an entire country or an
Correct.
entire segment of people where the threat is centralized to. So those were some mental exercises, the mental workout, I like to call it, that I had to um, take myself through. And we had, an ex-intelligence officer uh, and the material provided by the production to kind of handhold us through it. For me,
Okay.
especially
Okay.
because I was newly joining this universe.
Correct. Correct. Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
Pooja. So Eijaz, bringing on to what Pooja just said, how did you physically, mentally prepare for your role?
A lot of things here. It's very difficult to articulate everything in a few minutes. I think it starts by understanding what uh, what the occupation is all about, what the job is all about, what is expected of you, and then you move on to getting a very thorough character sketch and a backstory, a solid backstory of the character, and then merging the two in the situations that are provided to you through the stories, and how will an XYZ character navigate that 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 situation, and what the interpersonal dynamics will be with each and every character. Uh, Preparation, if I need to simplify it, as Pooja rightly said, uh, we need to be as invisible as possible. So ऐसा नहीं था कि I mean, for a different role that I was portraying recently in another film, I had to bulk up because it was an army officer. I had to bulk up. I had to be very stern. I had to be very straight, and invariably that character would stand out in a crowd. I had to make sure with this that the character wouldn't stand out and the character wouldn't attract any attention. And not only that, at a mental level, the character would be so self assured, mature, and present that he wouldn't need validation or attention from any aspect of his life.
Correct.
It requires, I don't know if you need to be a psychopath to believe that you're always right, but there is a humanity to it. There is a human angle to it also, where you're always questioning your beliefs, you're always questioning uh, ये मैंने बराबर किया क्या नहीं किया क्या, लेकिन इस इन इन लोगों के पास है ना ये लग्जरी नहीं होती,
Correct.
because they know that one decision of theirs can have exponential results, leading to countries at war, could be. So, but having said that, when I spoke with Aloka ji, na, he told me कि यार सक्सेस मिनिमल होता है इन सारी चीजों में. There are some things that go on and on and on. So where do you stop the game and say, okay, रेस 100 meters तक ही थी और मैं 100 meters जीत गया, क्योंकि रेस खत्म नहीं होती, ये कभी खत्म नहीं होती. You always bartering information, you always winning this situation, losing that situation, compromising on this. So I think I understanding these things, replicating these things, imbibing these things, implementing these things automatically makes you grow, even as a human being. You know, if you're playing this
Absolutely.
character for so long. So yeah, that is something that happened to me. And prepping to, we had a lot of good people to help us. Um, and as Pooja said, Aloka ji was a very good guide. We had the luxury of calling him in different situations कि क्या करना चाहिए क्या नहीं करना चाहिए. And you know, Pooja, towards the end of season 2, there is a scene where, anyway, I'm trying to find out a certain information,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm trying to find it out from from an enemy agency. And in the script, it was written that I asked them, and I asked them politely, or I asked them in a certain way, and they help us out. But what I did was, in the end, I just said, "ठीक, और तुम्हें जो चाहिए था वो मैं 2 दिन में दे दूंगा." So, and Aloka ji said, "Now you are getting it. That is exactly how it happens. Now you don't need my guidance." So there is always these double play, these games that are going on, games within games, and it is a privilege to play a character like this, to portray a character like this in today's day and age.
So,
Oh,
so
yeah, absolutely. It's
absolutely.
a privilege to, and also we need to understand that what we know and what we have been able to portray on screen is a very tiny part of what actually goes on.
I was about to ask about that. Yeah.
हमने जितना सीखा है समझा है वो भी बहुत छोटा सा हिस्सा है कि वो कैसे करते हैं, कैसे जीते हैं, कैसे रहते हैं, कैसे मैनेज करते हैं सब कुछ। और बिहाइंड द सीन्स इन रियलिटी क्या चलता है इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसीज के बीच में, डिफेंस पर्सनल्स की लाइफ में, देश के उन अम, ल- उस स्तर के लोगों के बीच में जो ये देश के लिए डिसीजंस लेते हैं, जिनकी कम्युनिकेशन ही बाकी देशों के ऐसे लोगों के साथ होती है, वो लेवल यहाँ से कैसे ऑपरेट करते हैं वो, व्हेन आई थिंक अबाउट इट, it takes me
It's
to a
crazy, yeah.
place where
It's
it's
crazy. Yeah.
crazy. It's so difficult to fathom it
But
all.
Pooja, Ejaz, is there anything during, I'm sure a ready script came to you, but I'm sure as actors you also, like we just discussed, did your share of prep. Is there
Mm.
anything new or like a very unexpected thing that you learned about India's anti-terrorism squad when you were reading more about it? ये तो पता ही नहीं था.
In real life हम ज्यादा ऐसे सोचते नहीं. In
Hmm.
real life हमें सोचने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती. But when you play a certain character ना, मुझे सब पर शक होने लगा. कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं है, ऐसा तो नहीं, ये तो नहीं हो सकता, वो तो नहीं हो सकता. And actually, you know, sometimes reality is weirder than fiction, man. What
Mm.
Aloka ji told me and what I can't repeat. Reality is stranger than fiction.
Most
आपको जो
definitely.
हाँ, आपको जो विंस दिखाए जाते हैं वो इसलिए नहीं दिखाए जाते क्योंकि दे आर एक्चुअल विंस. दोज विंस आर actually used as a pawn in a bigger game. So what we know as news or the our version of truth might not necessarily be, what it is portrayed to be. And I'm not saying it's a loss. I'm saying few informations are sent out to play a bigger game. So what I actually learned from Aloka ji is, see, after every episode, Ravi's team, Pooja, everyone, what we celebrate कि यार हम ये सिचुएशन जीत गए, एक्चुअली वैसे नहीं होता. इट इज एन ऑन गोइंग डैम प्रोसेस एवरी मिनट, वेदर यू स्लीपिंग वेकिंग द नेक्स्ट डे, you go back to the
Mm.
same space and start working again.
It just gets managed. We have only been able to manage it.
Yeah,
There's no winning,
exactly.
there's only constant management that happens of a certain situation. And I think to add to what Eja said, as human beings, from the day we are born, we are taught certain things, right? That this is a certain way, that is a certain way. Um, but we are never taught to question anything, right? We are our societal structure makes us a human being who walks this way, learns this way, talks this way, questions this way, studies this, that, blah, blah, blah. There's a structure to a human life, right, in today's society. But in general, we are not taught to question things. With this character, is the first time because being in intelligence is questioning everything you know, whether you've got to know from your own colleague, whether you've got to know from your source. You question every piece of information and then you use your instinct to execute it or not, and what to do with it, right? So this is what I took away out of it. I started questioning, like he said, I started questioning a lot of things.
Do you think in today's times when especially people are so touchy about everything, questioning everything will it take us a long way?
You question it
Because
for yourself. You don't question to
people are now
rebel.
easily offended with everything, how things operate.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that you can do your questioning. Okay, so questioning things don't have to be always outward and for something that is rebellious, or to kind of go ahead and say no, no, this is not and that is not, and this is what is going to happen now. Suddenly, now that I'm in this information, I'm going to change it up. You can question for the sake of your own understanding as well.
Yeah.
You don't always have to yeah, like I said, अपने लिए जानो, पहले समझो क्या हो रहा है, समझने के लिए पहले जो भी है वो करो, समझो, फिर डिसाइड करो. Observe, orient, decide, and then act. That's something also actually kind of learned while I was prepping for it. It's an OODA is a concept that intelligence and defense personnel use as a
What
rule
is
in
it?
their life.
What is it? Oh,
OODA:
okay.
observe, orient, decide, then act. Act is the last part. Generally in life, one should be this way. Observe.
Oh,
That's the first thing. Orient yourself. Decide karo कि फिर क्या करना है. Acting is the last part of it. So questioning, gathering information is for yourself, for what you want to do further. Everything, everyone comes later.
so I think this is a humongous life lesson too. I mean, we can just apply it in our everyday life. I think life will be a little simpler than what it generally is.
Most definitely, because
Yeah,
we generally react to everything before
yeah,
for anything else, and especially today, so social media and the way exposure is, people just something happens, reaction, 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 right? No one's saying, okay, pause. Kya hua? Kaise hua? No, it's nobody's stopping to observe. Nobody's stopping
yeah.
to orient themselves around what is happening, to understand what is happening, and then deciding for yourself, applying your own brain rather than sheep's mentality कि अच्छा ये इसने बोल दिया, चलो 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 चलो. This OODA has really helped me orient myself in life.
I think after this interview, your fans will also be able to orient themselves really well.
I really hope so. It's a concept
I
that is
think
is a
after
is a
this
life lesson.
interview, if people actually listen to what Pooja is saying now, even the media will learn a slight lesson. Because क्या है ना अनिंदिता, मैंने ऑब्जर्व किया है कि sometimes without even checking the facts, without even rechecking it or proofreading it, there are so many. Oh God, I'm going to get into shit for this. But I've dealt with it recently. That is why आप लोग इतने जल्दी में होते हो कि I want to get out the news first. It kind of dilutes the whole purpose of it.
I
So,
Yeah.
what was it, Pooja? Observe, orient,
OODA: observe, orient,
decide,
decide.
and then act. Big lesson here. Big lesson.
But Eijaz, I would like to just defend us here. Trying not,
Please
yeah, we are
do.
trying hard not to jump into conclusions anymore, like
No,
at
but
all.
I understand. But I understand. It is who comes out with the news first. It is one of the parameters of journalism now. कि सबसे पहले कौन break करता है? Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, and that kind of sacrifices a lot of integrity, man. I feel that.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm wrong.
No, it's okay. Point taken.
Awkward silence. Let's go. Yeah.
Eijaz, there are multiple shows like which are based on the very similar theme. You have a Tanav, which also deals with India's fight against terrorism. So,
Right.
what different do you think Adrishyam, brings to the table?
Oh, interesting question. That we will have to. Oh, see, I really am in no position to actually weigh the pros and cons of another show. But Tanav being a part of the Sony bandwagon, Tanav is on Sony Live, right? What is
Yeah.
different with this is, as I've repeated it earlier also, I think it's a very rounded show. It is not only action oriented. इसमें ऐसा नहीं है कि हम कॉमेडी ज्यादा दिखा रहे हैं कि इनके इनके एजेंट्स के साथ फैमिली लाइफ में क्योंकि डबल लाइफ जी रहे हैं तो क्या होता है। हम सिर्फ ये नहीं दिखा रहे हैं कि इंटेलिजेंस दुनिया में जो काउंटर इंटेलिजेंस होता है कैसे होता है। हम सिर्फ एक एक या दो चीज दिखाने की कोशिश नहीं करते हैं। देयर इज अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ everything in this which actually does not take away from the integrity of the show, so it becomes a very entertaining watch. Because I'll tell you, my house help, he's one of the biggest fans of Adrishyam. Vivek, he's from Jharkhand. He kind of speaks okay English, he understands that, but he doesn't really speak English. He is educated till about 11th grade, I think. He's a very big fan. So I feel it appeals to a larger section of the audience and it doesn't alienate a lot of people. I think हमारा USP वैसे रहेगा. Not saying that Tanav, some show like that is like that, but हमारा उतना heavy show भी नहीं है. उतना इंटेलेक्चुअलाइज भी नहीं किया है इस शो को. अब बहुत लोगों को समझ में आएगा और बहुत लोग इससे रिलेट भी करेंगे. मुझे लगता है ये यूएसपी इसका है.
Okay, okay, okay. Pooja, would you like to add to what I just said?
I think he summed it up perfectly. I agree with what he said. It's woven very well. It's a light-hearted show, and it offers the right amount of escapism that people look for when they look for a show or a project that provides them entertainment. So, um, like he said, this is a well-rounded show, and is why people should watch it. And
Okay.
it's all 6 episodes only,
Yeah.
as of now, so you can binge watch it in 2 hours or 2.5 hours, however that is. So not too much time of your life.
Absolutely, Pooja and Eijaz. It was wonderful talking to you. Sadly, we don't have more time. I wish we could. I could go on and on talking about prep and everything else. And it was wonderful talking to you. Thanks for being so honest, so opinionated in your responses. And I wish you all the
Thank
very,
you,
very,
Anindita.
very best for Adrishyam. I'm sure it will be a super hit.